Hi, we're in Job 1 through 4 in our Route 66. Job is just such an insightful book, possibly the earliest entire book that was written in the Bible, because it was possibly written about the time of Abraham, and the first 5 books in the Bible weren't written until the time of Moses. But we've come across a guy by the name of Job. So here we are in our Route 66 journey through the Bible, day 152. So let me give you a little bit of summary of what you're going to be reading today in these first 4 chapters. Number 1, chapter 1, Job's character and the challenges that he would face. Job is introduced as a righteous and wealthy man. Satan challenges Job's integrity to God and says the only reason he's good, he's righteous, is because you've been good to him. Let me test him. God allows Satan to test Job, resulting in the loss of his children, the loss of his livestock, the loss of his servants. Job mourns, but he worships God by saying, "The Lord gave and the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." That's amazing faith. Chapter 2, more testing and more faithfulness. Satan comes back and says, "Yeah, I haven't been able to do anything to him. Let me do something to him." And God says, "Okay, you can do something, but just don't take his life." Job suffers tremendous sickness and illness, but he still refuses to curse God. Even his wife tells him to get up. But Job replies, "Will we accept good from God and not bad things, not trouble?" And his 3 friends arrive, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, and they sit for 7 days just in quietness. And then in chapter 3, Job begins to complain. His deep anguish over the hurt and the pain and the loss and the bad things that happened to them. He curses the day that he was born. He doesn't curse God, but he questions his suffering. In chapter 4, the first person of his friends speaks, and he doesn't say the right thing. None of his friends say the right thing. He implies that Job's suffering is because he must have sinned. He appeals to his own experience and assumes Job must have done something wrong, even if we don't see it, to deserve such a hardship. And that is not true. And so some lessons that you can take from this, and that is, number 1, faith can stand even in suffering. You know, sometimes we don't know how strong our faith is until we go through a hard time. In fact, what I've experienced is sometimes when you're going through a hard time, you think your faith is weak, but it's because your faith is putting to a test. Real faith clings to God, who is all powerful, and not just trying to take it ourselves. God seeks us when we're broken, and we can have power in him. Faith in God will get us through anything. And another lesson with grief is not a lack of faith. You know, if you've ever gone through some heartache, you say, "Oh, don't cry, don't cry." No, it hurts. Deep pain, deep sorrow, deep loss. It hurts tremendously. It's not a sin. Grief is not a sin. And it's some of the hurts and the pains and the difficulties in life that we go through, we don't get over it. We get through it. It's an honest part of our faith that even through doubts, we still trust God, especially in suffering. That's where we can really show our true dependence on God, is when we have nothing else to cling to and we just trust in God. And a third thing that we're going to learn throughout these lessons and these interaction and discussion between Job and his 3 friends, not all advice is right, even if it sounds spiritual. Eliphaz's words sounded good. In fact, we're going to find that each of these guys, they tell the truth, but they misapply it to Job. Yes, sin has its consequences, and sin causes suffering. But Job's suffering is not because of sin. And so just because somebody says something that sounds godly and biblical does not mean it's true in your account or in somebody else's. Be careful of the advice you give to others. Make sure that you care about them and love them, and it comes out of a heart of compassion. Be careful whose voice you listen to in times of trial. So some good chapters here when we begin the story of Job, and we'll continue on through this great book.